there's no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. It means something to show up for yourself every day, you know? So I'm looking at today. What can I do today to serve myself and my family the best way I know how?
Welcome to the Just a Decision podcast, where we speak to our guests about the decisions they made in life, the good, the bad, the regrets, the decisions they're currently making, and the decisions they're going to make for the future. Subscribe, like, comment on the video, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. And remember, we're available on all streaming platforms. So I'm going to use a cheat sheet right now. But we have Miss Yolina, an educator with 14 plus years experience in the classroom and administrative setting, has witnessed the mental regression experienced by students, their families, and teachers alike. With many factors contributing to the negative effects to our well-being, Yolina is dedicated to working with individuals, school stakeholders, and leadership organizations to eliminate sources that emotionally and physically exhaust us in order to focus on strategies to help us heal and thrive through transitional stages of life. Yolina has been featured in Unheard Voices, News One, and Blavity.
Yeah.
Yolina, how are you doing today?
I'm fabulous now that I'm here with you.
Yes. I've known you for a short time, and I'm excited to hear your story and the decisions you made.
You.
Cool. So usually how I start the show, it's like these random questions.
Okay.
First one, favorite dish and from where?
Okay. Favorite dish is Mexican. I love Mexican food, Latin food.
Okay.
Latin America and Camden.
Wow. So there's two. There's the downtown one and the East Camden one.
So the East Camden.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Second one.
Okay.
Someone gives you a blank check. The number you write on it is gonna cash the next day. It's gonna cash the next day.
Ooh.
What's the first thing you're gonna spend it on?
Retiring my mother.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah, retiring my mother. She deserves that.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't know if you're ready for that story.
Oh, no. If you want to get into it now, we can.
Mama had me very young. She had me at 14 years old.
Okay.
Single mom. She was trying to finish school, really didn't have time to really take care of me the way, if you were in your 20s or your 30s. So I was a PK kid, preacher's kid.
Okay.
My grandfather raised me. So my grandfather and I are really, really close. My mother and I just started bonding when I was maybe in my 20s and 30s.
Okay.
But I've seen her in the way she moves, and she's taking care of others, and she's trying to have a self-care life and trying to build her destiny now that she's in her 50s, because she didn't have a chance to when she, was younger.
Gotcha.
So I want to give that back to her.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. So I guess we could transition into, so what was like the earliest memories you could have with her? Oh,
that is a very, very good one. I remember us taking pictures when I was about 9 years old.
Okay.
She got me dressed in this beautiful dress, and we headed to the park.
Okay.
We headed to the park, and it was her and I. And that was the first time I felt chosen, because the whole day was making me pretty and telling me that I'm beautiful. And from 9 years old, I mean, that moment right there just let me know what it felt like to be chosen and cared for. Wow. Yeah.
That's awesome. 9 is pretty early to realize that's what's happening now.
Yeah. I think around that age, and even now, that's when you realize you start to figure out who you are, in a sense. It's not as early as people think. Children know. They get a feeling of who's safe around them, who's good for them, even at 9 years old.
Yeah. Was your mom alone, or did she have like a support system raising you?
She had a support system.
That's
so
awesome.
My grandparents, I had, we all lived in this huge house.
Okay.
So I had 2 aunts, Sabrina and Cecina.
Okay.
I want you to listen to the names, okay?
Shout out to the aunties.
Yeah, Sabrina and Cecina. Then I had my cousin Tashina.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then it's me, Yolina.
Wow.
My mother, Racina.
The Enas are coming.
That's it, the Enas. And then I have a younger cousin, Karina.
Okay.
And my daughter is Selena. But growing up, the support system was, we were like, Family Matters. That was us. And I had my church family.
Okay.
So when my mom would go to school, I would be left with my grandparents, or I would be left with a church member.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to see a community help one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we're in a day and age where it's like survival of the fittest.
It is.
Dog eats dog world.
Absolutely. I totally agree.
Yeah. What's one of your earliest decisions as a preteen, like right before high school?
Like, are we talking about good decisions?
It's the good, the bad, regrets.
Ooh.
Going to that party your mom said don't go to, and you still snuck out the house, or
oh,
yeah, this is like an honesty hour.
Before college?
Before
you said before?
Is anything before high school?
Before high school. Before high school.
Or maybe your freshman year of high school.
Okay. So before high school.
Yep. So some people got good memories. They're like, oh, I got it.
I do.
Okay.
I do. So my mom worked 2 jobs.
Okay.
So she would miss the time when I got home from school and miss the time for dinner. Right? So that means I had to get my own snack. That means I had to make my own dinner. And out my window, I hear all my friends. But, mom's like, do not go outside.
Yeah.
Do not go outside. And back then, you didn't have Ring cameras and all this technology to check where you are, right? So I'm like, you know what? She'll never know. So, of course, I go outside. It's late. The street lights are on. And I'm like, she has another 3 hours, 4 hours before she gets home. She comes.
Wow.
I'm having a good old time on my porch. The friends are out. Like, we're vibing. And she comes home, and all she has to do is look at me. And I'm like, man, I feel guilty. I feel so bad. But yeah, it did make me feel happy that I disappointed her.
Okay.
Even though it was still outside on my porch, like I'm still in the front, but it was like boys were there, and it just wasn't right.
Wow. So what were the consequences for being outside?
I couldn't hang out with my friends for a while. I think I did have a pager or something at that time. I couldn't have my pager. So yeah, things that I cherished, the consequence was I could not use what I wanted.
Wow. So you and your mom had a good, I guess, talking relationship rather than bow, 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 bow.
Yeah. No, I mean, we had those times too.
Okay.
No, we had those times too. But I think she realized, being a single mom, I believe we moved into our first house when she was 26.
Wow.
Yeah. So that was when she was 26. She got her own house. And the maturity for her set in, like, the whoopings is not going to solve the problem. Like, we need to have some type of communication.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. So now we get into high school. Is any particular decisions you recall in high school that you're like, I wish I would have did this, or something that you think back now is like, oh, I should have done this?
I'm going to give you 2. Okay. So, good decision that I made was waiting to have sex. Now, I don't know. Can we talk about this?
Yeah, we can talk about everyone. I didn't do it until 18.
What's on the ground? Okay.
My mom under her household was like, don't do drugs in my household.
Right.
Don't do sex in the household. Right. And allegedly, my first week of college, I went nuts. First week of college, it was nuts.
Like, ooh, I got this option.
Yep. I never went back to my mom's house.
I hear you. Oh my gosh. So that's what it was. Growing up, being a preacher's kid, it was like, you know what? You got to wait till you're married to have sex. But my mom and I never had this talk, even though she, her first time she got pregnant with me.
Wow.
And I think that scared her,
PTSD.
Yeah. So we never really we should have had that talk, but we never was just like, okay, boys only want this, so stay away from them.
Yeah.
That was our talk. But we didn't talk about contraceptives. We didn't talk about diseases. We didn't have the talk that we should have talked about. So I was good friends with this guy. And I'm glad about this decision. I did not wait till I was married,
Okay.
but I was 18,
Okay.
right before going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt safe with this person because he was my friend.
Cool.
And he allowed me to speak my mind, to where it was just like, okay, we're doing it, we're not doing it. It's cool if we don't do it, you
Mhm.
know? So that was a good decision by waiting. And also being safe around somebody that meant something
Okay.
to me. Another decision in high school that I wish I would have learned, is to show up as myself. Yeah, show up as myself because you're going to have so much peer pressure to where you're going to be like, do I fit into this group? Do I fit into this group? And while you're trying to fit into different groups, you lose yourself.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to college, it's like, it's not really college that's like really a shock. It's like, who am I to determine like where I fit in now in this environment?
Yeah.
But by that time of choosing college applications, it's just like I need to pick what's right for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't make that decision if I don't know what I want or who I am. So high school, if I can give anybody this advice, is really to show up as who you are and tell yourself that you are meant to be in the room. Yeah.
It's so I guess you blended in with the majority of what they enjoyed or liked. Well,
Absolutely. High school, well, first of all, I was a tom girl.
okay.
Or is it tomboy? Tom girl, tomboy?
I'm
Tomboy.
tomboy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I hung out with all the boys.
Okay.
Because the boys like to have fun, laugh,
Mhm.
joke, play sports. That's just what I did in high school. I wasn't into the nails. I wasn't into the makeup. I wasn't into dainty things. So being around the boys made me feel protected. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
judged.
No, because I didn't have that father figure, even
Okay.
though my grandfather was that,
Mhm.
but we never like went out and played football or taught me the skills that a dad will teach you. What he gave me was how to be myself, the love of Christ, have faith, determination,
Okay.
never giving up. You know, those are the life skills that he passed on to me.
Okay. All right. So now, in high school, did you have a job, or were you only doing extracurricular activities?
No,
Or
I did. No, I had a job.
okay.
I worked at Shaw's grocery store, which is now Stop and Shop.
Okay.
So four of my high school friends, we all worked at the same grocery store.
Okay.
And I loved it because
Wow.
we would crack up.
What year was this?
Oh, this was my junior and senior year.
Okay.
So we were cashiers. And I never forget my best friend Jared. Shout out to Jared.
Shout out to Jared.
Jared could show up late to work. He could fool around to work. Because I found out Jared was messing around with one of the managers at the grocery store. I'm like, that's why you can get away with stuff. But yeah, to this day, he's one of my closest friends.
That's awesome. So we get to graduation in high school, life decisions happen.
Yeah.
So I feel like if you break it down, you could be entrepreneurship, but at 18 it's hard.
Yeah.
You join the military,
Yeah.
trade school,
Yeah.
or college.
Yeah.
If you could break it down. What did you do with your life decisions?
I did college.
Okay.
I did college a couple times. So undergrad, Johnson C. Smith University, Charlotte, North Carolina, Golden Bulls. That was in 2000. Graduated in 2004, but the HBCU experience is like no other. To be around like-minded individuals who accept you for who you are, who know your struggle, that you really don't have to pretend and you can let your guard down while learning, while growing, it means a lot.
Yeah, and I talked about this in a previous episode. In high school, I don't know if it's still around, but it's the CCAL. So it's the Christian Education Coalition for African American leadership.
Oh, wow.
And they took us to all the HBCUs in 1 week.
Wow.
So you're like bouncing, you're eating fast food. At the end of the week, you're like, I need a salad.
Yeah, you felt it.
That's one thing I would regret is taking the leap and going out of state for college.
Yeah.
Somewhere far, somewhere different.
Yeah.
Because I went to Rowan, it was right down the street. It was convenient.
It's a good school.
To go home,
Yeah.
And that's one thing I could wish is going somewhere far.
Yeah, but you can still make that choice with other experiences in life.
Yeah.
You know?
So you graduate. What was your major?
Communication arts was my major with a minor in marketing. So my goal was to do production, screenwriting, movies, scripts. Like that was my thing. But I wasn't determined enough at that point. At that point, I was afraid. I was fearful that no one's going to like my work. Like I'm going to write this. I'm going to spend hours on this and people are going to hate it.
Yeah.
So I will write script after script. I will write song after song. And I'm like, it never put it out. You know, I would sing it to a few people. I would do a couple monologues. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. We got a singer.
I own that. Back in the day, I'm like, oh, no, I'm shy. No, God blessed me with some wonderful gifts. And yeah, I sing, I write, I act.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did your grandparents go to college?
I'm the first one to go to college.
We got to practice that button, the clapping button on the thing and see if it works and see what happens. Who was your go-to to like, I need advice on this, I need advice on that, being the first one to go to college?
My grandfather, I would call, even though he didn't go to college, he would be the one to be like, you're the first one. Like, you have to. Like, this is a must. We are praying for you. You know, to have a praying family means so much. After my grandfather would be, I had a close professor on the yard.
Okay.
Who I would talk to. I don't think she's there anymore, but I would talk to her, and having those two outlets meant everything, because without an outlet, you'll be in your own thoughts.
Bars.
And when you're in your own thoughts, it's dangerous.
Ooh, you say you didn't have bars. That's a good one. That was a good one. Yeah, I was like, snap. I had to emphasize at least one of them. Wow.
Yeah.
Because like again, going back to when I talked about the breaking the word decide and all that. One of the first things my dad told me going to college, he said they'll let anybody in. If you don't have the grades, they'll find the money. And if you don't have the money, they'll find the grades. But you're going to get in. Yeah. It's crossing that finish line. Yeah. That's one of the hardest part.
Yeah. Because absolutely.
Did they have EOF or some type?
Yeah, they did.
Okay. So one of the things I shout out to PCI 2K10, Rowan University. One of the things they do is look to your left, look to your right.
Yeah.
One of y'all ain't going to be here at graduation.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then freshman, sophomore, you're like, yo, where's everybody at?
Yes.
Where's everybody? And they start teetering off. Whether it's...
And it happens.
Yeah. What life happens, whatever it's... things happen to people, but it's just like, do you have, like you said, the will and determination to figure out, all right, I got to tweak this over here and tweak that to get to the finish line?
Yeah.
So did you work during college?
I did. I worked at Family Dollar.
Okay.
Good old Family Dollar was down the street next to a eatery called Chef, what was it, Chicken King.
I thought you was about to say Cookout. I love me some Cookout.
I know, right? It was right next to Chicken King, Family Dollar. So that was my first job in college. And then when I stopped working at Family Dollar, I worked in the library.
Oh.
And the library gave me a stipend.
Okay.
So yeah.
Is that what, work study?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Work study.
Cool. That's the common denominator with a lot of people. They did a work study job on campus.
Yep.
So we're in college. We talked about work. Were you involved with any extracurricular activities?
Oh, I was. I was in the communication arts department. We did the yearbook. We did some interviews with people for homecoming, the committee to put together homecoming. I was always a people's person. Even though on the inside, I was still this timid little girl. It was something that made me... It's so weird. What was that something? It was that something that just, I had to be in the mix of something.
So you like being in the limelight?
Not so much of the
Okay.
limelight. I'm into making things happen. Like you don't
Oh,
have to see my face.
okay. Oh, you make things happen in the background.
Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
Most definitely.
So we're getting to graduation. Was there any point in time where you got to a senior year and you wanted to change your major, or you realized this is not what I want to do?
Never.
Okay.
Never.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you were set on.
I was set. I never changed my major. I stayed with my major. I think it was because of the professors. It was the students. Um, Outgoing, family oriented,
Mhm.
eclectic. We like the same thing, so we just vibe.
So we get to graduation day. What's going through your mind? Are you happy, excited, scared?
I'm a little disappointed graduation day.
Okay.
I'm a little disappointed graduation day. My father came.
Mm.
Did not want my father to come because all these years it was just like, where were you?
Yeah. Is backtrack?
You
Is
know,
this like the
yeah,
first time
we
meeting
can
him?
backtrack. So this was not the first time meeting
Okay.
him. I met him. Ooh, I remember meeting him maybe 7 years old.
Okay.
My mother told me we were going somewhere. I'm trying not to get emotional.
Do we need tissue?
I have tissue
Okay,
right
good.
here. I made
Perfect.
sure I
All
put some
right.
right in here.
I
um,
appreciate this honesty, Aaron,
yeah.
expressing emotions with us.
I was 7 years old, and my mom said, "I'm gonna take you somewhere," and I'm like, "Okay, it's just a regular day. Where are you taking me?"
Yeah.
And I pull up to this house, and I see this woman. Now she's my aunt Kathy. My aunt Kathy is my father's sister,
Okay.
and my aunt Kathy to this day is what um allowed me to get to know his side of the family because
Hmm.
she made it happen.
Okay.
So I see this lady outside the house. Then I see this boy. This boy looks like me, and
Hmm.
I'm like, "Who the heck is this boy?" And come to find out, it's my brother.
Okay.
Shout out to Chauncey. Chauncey is my oldest brother.
Okay.
And then comes out this man, and I'm like, he looks like me, and it was my dad.
Wow.
So that's how I got introduced to my father
Hmm.
by my aunt saying, "You know what? You need to know your child." So I love my aunt Kathy to this day. She's the reason why I know my closest people, the closest people in my life. My cousin Marissa, um, rest in peace. My cousin Linda, who's the daughter to my aunt Kathy. Um, so yeah, so that's how I was introduced to my dad.
Hmm.
But through the years, he's tried to get come into my life, and for years I'm just like I've had this hatred in my heart, and you never know what that hatred does to other facets of your life.
Hmm.
It has nothing to do with your father, but that emotion is stuck in there, which blocks the other relationships that you have with your children, with your spouse, with your friends, in the workplace. And then you're going to be like, why? Why do I have this feeling? Until you sit in it.
Hmm.
Sometimes you have to sit in it
Yeah.
to realize what it is. So you sit in it, and some of us are fortunate enough to accept therapy as a way to try to filter where this anger or this sadness is coming from. So I had to go to therapy.
Okay.
When I went to therapy, and the therapist is talking to me, and she's just like, you have all the right answers. You've been doing the work. You're, certified in mental health. Like you're good. And then she starts talking about my family, and she's like, "That's it. That's it. You're gonna have to learn how to forgive him." And I'm like, "Whoa,
Mm.
forgive him for leaving my mother? Like, who does that?" I'm like, "No, I can't do that because that means that he's won." She's like, "No, that's not what that means. When you forgive someone, you actually win because you're giving them all the power if
Yeah.
you don't, right?
Hmm.
So in order to take that back, you're going to have to let something go." And I let go that anger by forgiving him because at that time he was a young man, right? He was a young man trying to figure life out. So who am I to judge another person when I have my own wrongdoings, you know? So I forgive that 18-year-old man who did not know how to take care of a child. And now that I forgive you, that doesn't mean that I have to allow you in my life.
Yeah.
Right? That's just my choice.
Mm-hmm.
But going forward, I'm good. And I'm good. I've had this conversation with him. Thank you for, wanting to be in my life. I forgive you.
Wow.
And when I said I forgive you to his face, it was just like this weight. And I felt okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But going back to graduation, I didn't expect to see him. And the disappointment was just like, I wish we would have communicated so I could prepare for this moment.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't take away from the whole day. But I think it's important when you're trying to help somebody, you can't do it for yourself because there's disappointment, there's mixed emotions. So when you're trying to help somebody, you have to be cautious not to hurt them.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you're doing it for yourself, you most likely are going to hurt them because the intention of helping them correctly or doing it for them is not there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be I don't think I could think of a time where I was happy because it's graduation and then something comes and just twist the happiness to something.
Yeah.
So to process that and understand how to process it, I guess is very important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. I guess I won't say story because it's more than a story, but the processes of.
Thanks for letting me release that.
No problem. So graduate. Let's say that after graduation, when I guess you realize what's going on in life, what was your next steps in figuring out life?
I went to Howard University. So after I went to college, I wanted to take another step into media.
Okay.
So Howard University had a media program. It was a couple months. And they housed you and taught you how to sell and market commercials and airtime. So I'm like, okay, this is great. This will be on my resume. So let me check it out. So I did that for a little bit, and at the end of the program, they will hire students and put them into different organizations like
was this
Comcast.
A master's program? Another's bachelor's?
No, it's like it's in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, it's in the middle of the master's and a bachelor's. So I finished the bachelor's. I didn't want to do my master's at that time, so I did this program.
Oh, nice.
So this program was awesome. It was amazing. Met some great people, friends to this day. And they paired you up with different organizations for you to, and it wasn't an internship. It was like paid. Like
nice.
You were getting some nice money.
Oh, so to get in was a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. But I didn't get hired.
At the end of finishing the program?
I didn't get hired.
You lied to me.
I was like, what? But I remember saying to the organizers who were putting this event or program together, I'm like, why not me? I said that. I said, why not me? I did everything you wanted me to do, right? But now I realize it was imposter syndrome. I did what other people did to get in, but I didn't show up as myself. So I knew about the corporate world, and in the corporate world, talk a certain way, you dress a certain way, you act a certain way. And I'm thinking of all of this, but I didn't show them my authenticity. So when I asked that question, they said, well, who are you? Wow. Because this whole time we've seen you basically mimic, other people, but we were looking for Yolina the whole time.
Wow.
So when someone says, "Tell me about yourself," what do you say? Not what you think they want to hear.
Yeah.
Like, you need to come off the grip and say, "I'm this, that, and the third." You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You are a walking resume.
Yeah. One of the in high school, one of the things they I guess so I went to a private school.
Yeah.
They prepared you for interviews.
Yeah.
And it's, who are you? And most people are like, well, my name's Josh. I'm from Camden, New Jersey.
Yes.
My favorite color's blue.
Yes, exactly.
And you're like,
Exactly.
I didn't ask for fun facts. I'm like, what do you like to do? Why should we add? How can you add value to this company or to this job?
Exactly.
And you're like, I never really thought about that. But once you start realizing who you are, you're like, oh, boom, boom. Like, that's enough. That's enough.
Exactly. And that's what my daughter's doing high school applications right now.
Oh, okay.
And meeting different admissions reps. And I said, Selena, they're going to ask you who you are. Oh, Mom, I live in Williamstown. I do this, my favorite color, what I like to eat. I said, no, baby girl. They want to know what you can add. Right?
Yeah.
To, their establishment. What do you have to offer? Because you're going to be the walking resume of their school. When you say, I go to such and such, they're going to say, people are going to look at you and expect the culture and the vibe, the feeling of that organization. Right? Yeah. So going back, where were we?
You didn't get the job.
Yeah,
they asked you who you were.
So didn't get the job. I asked them, why not me? Then they asked, who are you? Told them who I was. And this one company, Cox Communications, COX Communications, picked me up. They hired me.
Okay.
They hired me.
Nice.
And I moved to Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Wow. So we started in Charlotte.
No, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut.
Oh, we started in Connecticut.
I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. Went to Charlotte, North Carolina for undergrad. Then went to Howard University, DC.
Okay.
Right? Then I got hired to go to a small part of Arkansas, Fort Smith, Arkansas.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So with this company, let me see, did you jump on the first company that hired you?
I sure did. I sure did. I need to pay some bills.
Okay.
Student loans came knocking at my door. Absolutely, I did.
So was this your first time, I guess, being far away from family? Or okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because that's a trip.
Oh yeah. Because Charlotte, North Carolina wasn't that far, but I remember, freshman year, my mom showing up on the yard because of, like we were saying, partying, not doing what we need to do. And I see this woman walking on the yard. I'm like, she looks like my mom. It was my mom traveled from Hartford, Connecticut to Charlotte, North Carolina. She was like, this is a quick trip for me. You better do what you need to do and get them grades up, or I'll be back here on this campus, or you'll be off of this campus.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what did you do with Cox Communications? Are they still around?
I believe they are.
Okay.
I believe like in the southern parts of the world, they may still be around. I sold airtime for real estate.
So what's that mean?
So realtors wanted commercial time on cable. And I will help them put together a commercial for the listing.
Okay.
And I would do the voiceover.
Wow.
Yeah, and I will schedule it on air.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Cool. So how long did you do that for?
A year and a half, and I'm like, I need to transfer back home.
Okay. So did you ever get to transfer back home with Cox Communications?
So I transferred with Cox Communications to Cox Radio.
Okay.
And I did a radio station in New Haven, Connecticut, and sold airtime on R&B station.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I love R&B.
Yeah, gotta love R&B.
What's that song? Nice and Slow? I just wanna
take it nice and slow.
No. They call me JOSHU.
Hey.
Cool. So selling airtime, how long did you sell airtime for?
A short period of time. Because that job was, in Fort Smith, I didn't have any competition. It was only me doing that.
Oh, wow.
So in Connecticut, where it's more, the market is larger.
Yeah. Is that considered the tri-state up there?
Yes, tri-state area. Everyone, it was like competition trying to get these businesses on basically your side to sell their commercial.
So
And
in
I wasn't
Connecticut,
up for that.
okay, so Connecticut is like you're working for it.
Oh, you
In
working.
Arkansas, they're just coming to
Yeah,
you and you're like,
absolutely.
check.
Absolutely. I'm like, y'all can have this. You know,
Okay.
yeah.
So what was after that, after Cox Communications?
After that, then came the education.
Okay.
Yeah, then came the education because I realized my script writing and the movies that I wanted to do, I needed to either at that time go to Atlanta, California. I didn't have the funds for it. I didn't have the drive. I'm like, this is too much. I need something to feed my soul at the same time, feed me, like put stuff on my plate so I could,
Paying bills is
survive.
important.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm gonna do education. So I was reading the newspaper because back then that's what we did. The newspapers would come on Saturdays or Sundays. I forgot what day. Got the newspaper, reading the newspaper, and then they had this ad for Montessori education. They had scholarships. They had 2 scholarships available for Hartford residents.
Okay.
You had to be a college grad. I forgot the other the list of requirements.
Yeah, you had to be qualified.
You had to be qualified.
And you were qualified.
So I said it. I was like, I could do this. So I sent in my resume and I got picked for a scholarship for Montessori education specialist.
What's Montessori like? What does that mean?
Montessori is a hands-on learning experience that children use in order to learn, not like your books and a piece of paper, but actually hands-on materials that you could count and you can visualize.
So like, we had my mom on, Dana. She said they taught not just the sound "k" but action. So
absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How she go? It was like sounds and movements. Yeah. So when they're doing their tests, all the kids are making noises, doing actions.
Absolutely.
But they're understanding what's going on rather than, all right, this is an A.
Yeah. You can see the CK. You can see the CH. Like we would have those materials in the classroom. And it's actually we call it a learning house versus a classroom because the child is leading the experience. Because if they're not ready for something, we basically follow them as far as what they would like to learn for the day. But we will show them different skills and different tools to use. And it's amazing how after you give a child a lesson, where they would go and what they would do with that lesson if we only give them the opportunity to.
So you get, is this a degree you're getting or is it
It's a diploma.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you get this diploma.
Yeah.
What's next?
Well, let's rewind.
Okay.
Because at first I didn't get the diploma.
So wait, did you not? I don't say you failed, but did you?
I did.
Oh,
so their testing at the end of the program is just like how a student will show you. Well, your paper test is not a paper test. It's using the material and showing how you would teach the lesson.
Oh, so it's a hands-on.
It's a hands-on test.
Gotcha.
Right?
It's like student teaching.
Yeah, exactly. Like student teaching.
Gotcha.
I'm not a mathematical person. Like the mathematical mind, I just don't have, right? I'm an analytical, and that gets me by being analytical. But I bombed on the math part.
Gotcha.
So in order to get my diploma, I had to redo the test.
The whole thing or just the math part?
Just the math part.
Okay. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
okay.
Just the math part. So I had to do that part in order to be Montessori certified. Wow. But if I did not have the support of my grandfather and people in my life, the support group, cheerleaders that you have in your life saying like, you can do it, I probably would have just stopped and not even I think it was 9 months of the program. I probably would have washed my scholarship in 9 months because I failed. But you got to have those people that say, you know what, you're going to waste all of that and not take this test over. You can do it.
Cool. So we did it.
We did it.
All right. Now
finally,
it's
eventually.
Cool. All right. So pass this test. Next life decisions.
Next life decision. So there was a friend in college who we were friends for a while. And at this point, it was just like, I need love. Like this whole time I'm on this journey by myself. I've had boyfriends, but not really companionship.
Okay.
You know, someone that
were they that term situationships?
Yeah, they were situationships. Definitely situationships. And this one guy, I met him on my senior cruise, He went to the same college as me.
Okay. The Montessori one or?
No, HBCU,
okay,
Charlotte, North Carolina.
All
so we met then, but we were cool. We were friends, you know. And I'm like, oh, let me give him a call, see how he's doing. I don't know what it was, you know. So we started kicking it. He would drive to come see me. At that time he lived in New Jersey.
Okay.
And where we are, right? And we started developing this friendship and then relationship. And he's like, look, I can't do this long distance thing. I'm back in Connecticut.
Oh, that's like so I had a friend that she took a travel nursing gig. So I went to go see her.
Okay.
And that was a little drive.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just long roads.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
And then that George Washington Bridge can kill you. I don't take that anymore. I take the Como Bridge now. But anyway, we decide to try this relationship thing, and that's how I ended up in New Jersey.
So you moved for love.
I did.
Shout out to LOVE.
I did.
Cool. Yeah. So I guess we could get talked to about relationships. So someone's out there trying to, I guess, create or find that love. What are some quality or characteristics you think that maybe a young person or an older person needs to be like, Ooh. Or what's yours like for your top 3 or top 4?
Know my love language. If you don't know my love language,
it's that acts of affirmation.
Quality time. You know, if you don't know my love language, it's gonna be hard for us to move forward. You know, because I mean that's where in marriage, like when you're talking about marriage, some people are like, oh, they don't know your love language by now. No, because you grow, you evolve. You're supposed to change. I can't stand when somebody says, oh, they changed. Yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I've grown. I know what I like and I want from this world. When you're younger, you don't know half of that.
Yeah, you just...
So knowing somebody's love language is very important. Listening is important.
I have trouble with that.
Yeah, and it's a learned skill. Some people, like in school, the teachers say, hey, won't you listen? But listening requires someone to be patient. And some people just don't have patience. And although that is something that you have to be trained and learned on. Somebody can't just say, hey, just be patient. Yeah. And you have to teach someone. You have to show someone. So if you're telling somebody something and you're not doing it, it's not going to happen on their end.
Yeah. I would say a lot of people say, I hear them, I don't listen to them. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's it. Yeah. Right? That's also being intentional. That's another one. Be intentional with me. You can't say you want quality time and we're sitting down and you're on your phone. Like, dude, come on. Like, you're not being intentional. Your body's there, but you're not intentionally in tune with me and my heart and my soul. Right? Yeah. Being mindful. Okay. Being mindful. And being mindful requires you to succumb. And that's hard for people to succumb or sacrifice. Because, of course, you want something out of a friendship or a relationship. But when you succumb and sacrifice, that means I am going to do whatever it takes with a boundary to make this person happy and to see that I am in this for the long road.
I know we haven't got to your career yet, but I feel like I should be paying you for all these bars.
Yeah, okay.
Going back to all these bars. Okay. So you get to New Jersey.
Yeah.
Did your husband be like, yo, I got you? Or you're like, I need a job?
So I got a job. Okay. No, he had me for a minute.
Okay.
He had me for a minute. Shout out to you, Michael. Thanks, babe. But he had me for a while, and then I got a job at I think Lindenwald School 4.
Okay.
So I was a paraprofessional in special education classroom. I loved it. I loved the challenge. But the money just wasn't, being a paraprofessional, you don't make enough to support a family to where you would have to have a side gig or
Yeah.
your spouse would have to, be the breadwinner. So then I moved to another school, a different school, Central Early Childhood Education. I love you guys. We're still friends to this day. The principal, she just retired. Principal Geoffrey just retired. She believed in me and she worked with me. At that time, I just had my daughter.
Okay.
So that was 2011. I just had my daughter, and I would be showing up to work late because that baby, this baby's gonna be babying.
Yeah. I'm an older sibling. I haven't had a baby yet, but I'm an older sibling.
So you know what? It takes a lot just to get them situated, the babysitter situation. But the principal worked with me, and she's just like, "Look, you can't be showing up here late. Like, we got a job to do. We got these kids that we gotta teach, But I had a manager who cared and saw something in me, and I couldn't let her down. She had that sit down. She was serious, but she was caring. And at that time, I realized with business and family, there has to be some type of structure.
Boundaries.
That's it. I gotta have, okay, so I'm doing all this work myself, and I gotta tell my husband, no, you need to do X, Y, and Z so I can get out of here and you can get out of here.
Yeah.
Not you can leave for work on time and I'm struggling.
Yeah.
And no, we gotta do something. So yeah.
Cool. So education, are you still are you still
At
teaching?
that time I was a paraprofessional and I worked there for a while, so they called me a co-teacher.
Okay.
I realized that I wanted to do teaching full time, like full time.
Okay.
So I did student teaching.
Nice.
So I finished my student teaching.
Did you have to take the praxis?
I did, and when I say I failed.
Yeah, that's no
failed
joke.
Like 3 times.
Okay.
I took the praxis 3 times.
It's
And it was the math. Like
Yeah.
the math got me. Like
Yeah.
you could see your scores once you do the practice on what you got on all these subjects. But mind you, being a teacher, I was a teacher for K to 6. So that was my cert. So, but while I'm doing student teaching, I'm finishing my master's.
Okay. And you got your hands on.
So yeah. So I'm finishing. That was my first master's.
Okay.
So I finished
Woo-hoo!
that. But we'll go if you got time.
Oh, I got nothing but time. The Saturday is clear.
So
we just gotta make sure that battery life is good.
We're good.
All
Okay.
right.
Okay. So so took it 3 times. You could see the scores. All the scores. I was K to 6 certified. So K to 6 certified, you have to take a series of the 5 tests.
Okay, yeah.
Right? Which is your ELA, your English language arts, your social studies, your science, math, and I'm missing one.
Is it that praxis 2 is your
the practice,
your focus?
Right,
yeah.
Exactly. So
Okay.
The core test I passed, no problem. But
Okay.
you had to take that second praxis in order to get your
That's no joke. A lot of people
and a lot of people are suffering from that. And now
study.
they have if you pass the core test, I know in the state of New Jersey they changed the requirements of being a certified teacher.
Oh wow!
So now you can pass the core praxis and show that you've done student teaching, and a school wants to hire you, and then you can get either a CE or a certificate of standing, something of that nature.
Okay.
In order to be a certified teacher. Well, it was much harder when I was doing my student teaching.
Gotcha.
But they've noticed that the practice is so hard that the state of New Jersey and other states, they are trying to keep teachers in the classroom, and they want minorities, males. So they're working with demographics and school districts to get good teachers in the classroom.
Yeah. Well, like you said, minority males, my last guest, he was my college roommate. He teaches for KIP.
Oh, yeah.
So like he wasn't, he didn't always want to do education, but he found his love or his calling and God did his thing. And then he was like, he started as a paraprofessional too.
Yeah.
And now he's just like, dude, this is what I love.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
giving back.
And give it back.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
and then again with this podcast theme, it's okay to love what you love, and
Mm-hmm.
the money might not be the best, but you could pay your bills. You're
Yeah.
happy. Your family life is good, and that's okay to be okay.
Yeah. That part. It is okay to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially when you have a great partner where things just flow well and life is good.
Yeah. In the beginning.
Oh man. Okay.
In the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you get in adulthood, and like I said, when you're changing and that other person is changing, you can go to two separate directions. But what is going to keep you grounded?
Yeah.
You know, if you're both changing, but the vision of your relationship and your friendship changes. So let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Where are we going with this union? Because we saw it as one thing, but it's going to change.
Yeah. So, education. You were at Lindenwold, and then you went to Defford.
Then I went to Defford, and then I ended up in Camden. Camden was looking for a Montessori teacher.
Okay.
So,
wow. So this is like a focus
schools. Yeah.
that people are looking for.
Oh, yeah.
Well, why don't you think it's like a standard rather than a focus?
Well, of education.
Well, the Montessori, like, why isn't that just?
Oh, it's not
in curriculum already.
It's I'm glad that it's now being looked at, but it's unorthodox. When you find something that's unorthodox and you're not seeing it around you, it's just like, oh, we don't think that's gonna work for us, you know. But you got to give things a try. You got to study it. You got to ask other people, and that's what my school district did with Montessori. And they have a great program at Sacred Heart School. Where we have a Montessori kindergarten and we have a Montessori first grade. And it's been a couple years. It's a successful program where it's opened up doors not only for hands-on education, but now we have a bilingual program. We've entered this educational world, I wouldn't say alone, but we're broadening the minds of people in our community that you just don't have to sit at a desk and learn.
Yeah.
Because we need to meet the children where they are.
Yep.
Because if they're tuning out with that piece of paper in the desk, we need to open the door for other things.
Yeah. Where are you at right now with education?
Right now, I'm in the administrative office. So I taught for going on 15 years. I did. I finished with middle school science, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade science. I finished last year, and I'm in administration right now, working with the executive director of Catholic Partnership Schools.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you went through life trying to figure out what you wanted to do, and now do you is this it? You see yourself doing this forever, or is there a next?
It's definitely a
level.
Next.
Okay.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a next level. World traveler speaker, reaching out to young men in the juvenile system.
Okay.
That is my next goal.
Nice.
Finishing my book. I've written one. I should have brought it with me. But it is, we could talk about that, of how to get a book on saving yourself. A chapter in the book, it was a correlation of about 15 authors in the southern New Jersey area. And I think some of the authors may be out west, but Coach Chanel, who is a mental health practitioner, she asked people who are in the mental health field to write a chapter on self-care and how it's not selfish to love on yourself.
Yeah.
Because growing up, people think that's cocky, or you know what I'm saying? Like, why are you talking about yourself in a higher standard? No, you should talk about yourself in a higher standard, because who else is going to beef you up other than yourself?
Yeah.
So I have a chapter in this book, and it's called How to Save Yourself, a plan to save yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It's some good stuff.
Cool. So you got a book.
Yeah.
You're trying to be not trying, let me excuse my language. You will be a world traveler speaker. You want to talk to at-risk juveniles. How does one balance all these life goals and decisions they want to make, and you still got your family?
Yeah.
How does one work with wanting to do so much?
You have to allow yourself to be human. Okay. because for a while I said, okay, I'm a coach. People are looking at me to be perfect. Like, I gotta be perfect.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing as perfection. It means something to show up for yourself every day. You know, so I'm looking at today. What can I do today to serve myself and my family the best way I know how? Not reflecting on yesterday, not thinking about tomorrow. So with all these hats, which hat am I going to wear today? Because I can't, it's no way I can be mom, educator, best friend, wife, self-love advocate. Sorority sister. I can't put all these hats on, because if I put all these hats on at one time, guess how I'm going to feel? Horrible, because
Overwhelmed.
I'm going to fail somebody.
Yeah.
And somebody's not going to like me because I didn't intentionally, put them where they need to be in my life.
Yeah. When you said all these hats, I'm like, it's weird, but I thought of like an octopus and all his arms.
Seriously.
And there's hats on each
Right.
one. And you're like, which one am I going to put on my head today?
Something's going to fall.
Yeah.
Right? 2-3 of those hats are going to fall. Right?
Mm-hmm.
How can you be your best self and you know that 3 of them are going to fall on the floor. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be mom and wife today. Right? That means I'm going to have to tell my girlfriends, I'm sorry, I can't make it. Wow. My boss I'm not saying my current boss, but your boss or whoever can say, oh, I need this report today. I can't get it right now, but I am going to be able to do it at such and such time. Wow. Is that okay?
Yeah, right? to be honest with someone like that, it's got to be, because your boss, you're like, I can't tell him tomorrow, or I can't tell him next week. Right. So having that rapport with people has to be important as well.
Yeah, because that's how they respect you. Because if you keep being yes, that yes person, they're going to continue to ask, because they're going to know that you're going to say yes.
Yeah. That's one thing I'm working on is having to say no.
Yeah.
Because if I'm free, I'm doing it. And they're like, Josh, when do you sleep? When do you have time for yourself? But I have so many goals. It's like, do I do a podcast when I should be taking a nap right now before work? Or should I text people, yo, are you available on Saturday? And I feel like you have to take a hit somewhere. Yeah. And mine right now is all sleep.
Yeah.
I survive off naps.
And that's okay. Naps are sleep. But there's other forms of rest.
Too. Yeah, but most people are like, you need 8 hours, you need 3 meals a day. And I'm like, dude, I'm good off 2 naps and I'm wired.
See, but that's the thing. We as people and as friends and people in just in general, we cannot tell other people what they should be doing because everybody's body is different.
Yeah.
And that's where that mindfulness comes in. Like, if you can rock with 4 hours of sleep and you can have a granola bar and a ginger ale and you're good, I can't tell you, dude, that's bad. No, you need 8 hours of sleep. You need this, you need that. If it works for you, it works for you. And that's what you have to do in your life, is find your rhythm.
Nice. So the administrative part, what's your role in that, being a part of administration? Because that means you're a big dog.
Teacher. Well, I don't know if I'm
administrative. No one likes admin wherever you're at. You're like,
no. I'm teacher support.
Okay.
Student support. Board support.
Jack of all trades.
So I'm just, and I don't want to say I just make myself available. I listen, I adhere to, I make sure that the mission and vision is there with the work that I perform in order to make sure that the student, the teacher, the administration office knows the effort and love was given with whatever I do.
Where can people find you on social media? Or you said you have that book. How can people get that book or get in contact with you?
I am Yolina J _ survival coach. And that's where you can find me. And I call myself survival coach because I'm not supposed to be here. I'm not supposed to be sitting here with you.
It makes me sad when you say that, because I'm not looking forward to the next conversation.
Yeah. So COVID happened.
Okay.
COVID happened and I caught COVID pneumonia. And everyone in my house is coughing, like that's deep cough. And I'm like, what is going on? I have my mask on, I'm staying away from people, and I still caught it. And it gets so bad to where I can't breathe. And I call my doctor on the phone. She's like, no, you need to go to the hospital.
Wow.
So I go to the hospital. I'm like, this is just a cough. They're like, no, you have COVID pneumonia. I'm like, okay, pneumonia I heard could be bad. And it gets worse. It gets worse. And I end up on a ventilator.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And people have heard other people or in books and movies where you see this light. No, I see this light.
Wow.
I see this light and I feel this warmth, and then I see a hand. And I don't even think I told this whole story on my Instagram. And this hand was my cousin. My cousin who passed away a couple years ago. And he's like, it's not your time. And I'm like, ooh, okay, it's not my time. And I like, now I see. So I'm opening up my eyes and I'm just finding the strength. My mother drives from Connecticut. My daughter's with my husband because they can't come in the hospital. Like I have no family here. And I'm like, Lord, please, I just don't want to die. And I can't even see my child.
It was a sad time. I did security at a hospital like during that time.
Yeah, it was bad.
And security was in charge of, again, I don't know how to say this nicely. Like when people passed away, we removed the bodies from the room and put them in the fridge.
Yeah.
And it was so bad that we had refrigerators outside.
Yeah.
And then if you didn't have family, you had to sit and wait for that process. And I'm glad you are here.
Yeah. Amen to that.
Yeah.
Amen to that. So my mom drove to, thank you.
No problem.
Drove from Connecticut and they wouldn't let her in.
Oh, that's the hardest part. And some people know.
And I have a picture of her. She talked to the nurse and the nurse was like, you can probably find the window to the room. And my mom found the window to the hospital room where I was. And she's standing outside and she's singing and she's praying that I make it through. And I made it through. So I'm a miracle. So what I do, whatever I do, I put my heart and soul in it because God said this is another chance for you to do so. So that's what I'm going to do.
I don't know if you like tattoos, but get a survivor.
Yeah, I know.
That could be your word.
I'm thinking about another tattoo.
Yeah.
Look at that. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. So thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, because that's cool that you get to see and hear your mom. Because a lot of people at the hospitals, they were doing FaceTime.
Yeah.
And that's got to be the hardest thing to not touch.
Absolutely.
And just feel, you could hear the love, but just be able to feel the love.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing all these stories with us and the community. Yeah. We appreciate it. And I'm glad I'm capturing your story that anyone can hear and you don't have to physically talk to someone and just the voice of you. Because I ain't going to say your voice. I don't like my voice, but your voice is very soothing.
Oh, thank you.
So you ever hear the Calm app?
Yeah, I use it.
I feel like you should be on it.
Yeah. I'm working on, I'm doing some voiceover work right now.
Well, Lamar, we could hook you up. Just come down.
I would love so.
to the decision making room, and we'll make it happen.
I would love to.
Cool. Is there anything else that you could think of during your journey that you would like to share, or because I have some questions of my own?
I do. I want to talk about. Marriage.
Oh, okay. I'm scared of marriage.
I want to talk about marriage.
I'm scared.
It is a scary thing,
especially with law enforcement. You feel like divorce, and
listen. My husband, he works for General Motors.
Okay.
But before then, he did the testing for police.
Civil service.
Civil service. Mm-hmm. He got chosen for Camden, and he got chosen. And he was like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this." I'm like, "No, you're not." I'm like, "No, you're not."
It's not wrong with being a cop.
No, it's not. But it's scary. That's what I'm saying.
Got you.
It's scary.
Got you.
You know. Yeah. And just the thought, of hurt, harm, or the politics around it is difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I guess.
So no.
Okay.
So no.
You wore the pants that day. It was
I
like,
did. I
no,
did.
yeah, yeah, because what marriage? So
So
what's
I want to talk about. We're in a place right now where, um, I love you, honey. We're in a place. We're in a place right now where, grief plays a part of, um, our healing process.
Mm,
So his father passed last year,
okay.
and grief changes you,
Mm-hmm.
but you have the choice. You have the decision
Mm-hmm.
to decide how you're going to let grief change you. Okay. And without doing the work, and this is any type of part of healing, without doing the work, that's the positive and negative, and where your life is going. So it's gonna take a person outside of themselves to help someone else. Um, and I had to realize I had to be a friend and not a spouse. When someone is really hurt, someone is looking at you or can't see you fully. So it's just like, you know what? Let me be your friend right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let me be your friend right now. And let me look at you as my friend. Because when you think of someone as a friend, you want to help them. You want to be caring. You want to be kind. Not let's think of the argument we had last week and I'm bringing that into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
You got to humble yourself and think of almost like a good Samaritan.
Mm-hmm.
Or what would Jesus do?
Yeah.
That what was that WWJD
JD.
that we used to
So
see?
what would Joshua Daniels do?
Right. You know, so you have to humble yourself in relationships and show up as someone's friend from time to time. Not think of, the bad moments, but create new memories for you to get by from day to day and also for them to see the good in themselves, you know? And that's not just with marriage, that's with friendship.
Yeah.
And that's also with yourself. Sometimes you're going to have to sit down with yourself and tell yourself how it really is.
Mm-hmm.
Also show yourself love.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That's awesome. So before this is just my personal questions because I was doing my research.
Yeah.
I saw one of your posts that said toxic positivity.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I've been told my whole life.
Ooh.
They're like, Josh, you're always positive.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I don't need to hear that. I can do it. I need to process, I guess, that grief.
Mm-hmm.
And it's to me, it's like, but you had remember all the good times you had with that person, but at the same time, it's like I don't hear that.
Yeah.
So me personally, I don't know if you could diagnose me. How do I guess, backtrack from the positive and understand where someone's coming from?
So, I hear you. What I understand is that you are the cheerleader, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't need that right now, right? So you just need to be mindful of where their mental state is because that's almost like, I'm a morning person. So I come in and I'm like, hey, good morning. Hey. And somebody's like, ooh, that's just too much right now. I just need you to take that down. Is that something that this situation is like?
Yeah, you could say I'm a life person, not even a morning person. Anytime people call people call me dead out of sleep.
Yeah.
Yo, did you sleep? Yeah, I just woke up. They're like, did I wake you up? And I'm like, you're worried about the wrong things right now. You call me, what do you need?
Right.
And they're like, well, and then it's like, I don't know how to, I guess, map out when to not be excited, when to shut up and listen. And it's just like,
you should always be yourself, but you just said something that I was going to say to you is to ask that person, well, what do you need right now?
Yeah.
So we assume so much that what people need, but all we have to do is ask them.
Yeah. What about if they say, I don't know? And then they're like, I don't know what I need. And there's
let me just be here. Let me just be here.
So be
sometimes
present.
You don't even have to open your mouth. You just be there for them. Because what's going to happen is that you guys are going to organically talk about something or play video games or whatever the case may be. And the vibe is already going to be set by the intention of you being present.
Yeah, that's one thing I'm working on because even with like this podcast, they're like, Josh, I guess people are trying to, slow me down. And I don't want to be slowed down. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. And they're like, well, when do you have time for yourself? And I'm like, this is way more important than me trying to figure things out when I'm just doing. Like
Yeah.
Lamar, he'll even ask me, yo, what do you think about this? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah.
Do what you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I need your opinion. And in my head, it's like, I trust you already, so you don't need my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
But to respect his question of
Yeah.
what do you think about it? And it's
Yeah.
just like taking the time to process. Maybe I should answer this question.
Mhm.
And it's just my brain. If I go to a doctor, they probably label me something. I don't want to say it. I don't want to give them no meds or anything.
No. I'm not a doctor, but like you said, that you're a life person,
Mhm.
and that's what keeps you up is your go,
Yeah.
right? And when you slow down, it's like your thoughts are still there; they're still running, and that
Yeah.
does interrupt your sleep habits
Yeah.
and your rest, right?
Yep.
But if it is not harming you physically or mentally, and you still smile, but not ignoring the fact that there is an issue, if you don't feel that, then it's cool. You know, do
Yeah.
what you need to do. But that's the issue when we start listening to other people, we start internalizing that, and like now you're saying, okay, do I not feel well, or am I doing things right? You got to find that boundary, and
Yeah.
also the support that you have,
Mhm.
right? Because there are people I shouldn't say, I don't like using the word should,
Mhm.
but can improve our life. You have cheerleaders in your
Mhm.
life, right? Those are the people who are saying, yay, good job, do this. It's good that you're doing it. You know, those are not the people to say, you know what, I think you need to slow down,
Yeah.
or this will be good for your life. They're the yes people,
Yeah.
right? So you have cheerleaders in your life.
Mhm.
You're going to need advisors in your life,
Mhm.
right? You're going to need the people who are like your mentors or your counselors that you can talk to,
Mhm.
and they're going to listen. Not so much of giving you your advice, because that's a therapist. So that's different, right?
Mhm.
So with mental health practitioners, we do more of the listening. And then we ask you as far as what your mental or physical health plan is. And then we go from there. Where a therapist is going to diagnose you.
Gotcha.
Okay, they're going to listen to your trauma. They're going to listen to your what's happening medically wise, and then diagnose you with things. So that's the difference. Then you're going to have a spiritual person. Whether you worship or not, this spiritual person could be also a earth healer or someone, just someone to keep you grounded.
Yeah.
And they'll also talk about your mindfulness. So a lot of us don't listen to or use our senses every day. So Josh, while you're going through your everydays and you're saying that you're not resting as much as you need to, or people are saying, hey, you need to slow down. I just want you to stay grounded. Okay. And what that means is, can I see clearly? Okay. Am I seeing clearly? Am I hearing clearly? That means not just, people talking to you, but really, can you hear the birds chirping? Can you hear the faucet dripping? Do I feel numbness in my toes, in my hands, my arms? Those are your senses. So if everything is functioning good, you're good.
Wow.
You're good.
So you're also, I heard you throw it in there, mental health practitioner?
Yeah.
All right. What program did you go to get certified with?
Embrace You Coaching. So
Okay.
Embrace You Coaching is out of Florida.
Okay.
And right after COVID, I got in contact with Michelle Kennedy, who is the director of Embrace You Coaching, and they have different coaching programs. And I became certified in life coaching, but my niche was family and marriage counseling, where most of my clients have been mothers or fathers. I've been mentors to young people to let them know that, yeah, life and trauma gets in the way, but you know what? You still are walking. You still are breathing. So what are you doing with the rest of you?
That sun's going to go up and down whether you want it to or
absolutely.
not.
Absolutely.
Nice. Is there any more certifications you got in your pockets?
I have a master's in elementary education,
Nice.
and I'm working on another certificate right now, but my doctorate. So, but that's taking a while.
Hey,
It's taking a long time.
it's all right. It's all right. Take that nimbles.
You know. So
I don't want to say crazy, but it's amazing to hear someone have all these certifications,
yeah,
degrees,
yeah,
take time to invest in their
yeah,
education,
yeah,
and you got those people who are like, I'm gonna just give up. So one
yeah.
thing I tell a lot of people is one class a semester.
Absolutely,
Don't just go out. It might take you 10 years to get that bachelor's
absolutely.
degree, but one class a semester as will get you to that goal.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool.
Great advice. So I used to do one-to-one appointments with clients,
Okay.
but I noticed that people don't realize that there is work attached to healing.
Mm-hmm.
So either they will show up late, not show up at all,
Mm-hmm.
but that's my time,
Mm-hmm.
that I'm scheduling for you. So what I did and found more beneficial was group therapy.
Mm.
And I shouldn't call it therapy, it's more facilitation. And this group would be a similar demographic and have similar challenges. So where I'm not really talking, I'm just monitoring this group of women or men who are talking to each other, sharing experiences,
When
but
you
need.
when you say group, like
Mhm.
what's that mean? Is like guys and girls mixed together,
It
or
can be
everybody's?
women and men mixed together. It can be just women. It can just be men,
Mm.
depending on the asking. So I'll get DMs or
Okay.
emails, and I'll notice, okay, I have like 5 women dealing with the same issue. And we'll go with that.
Okay.
Or this company that I worked with, they'll already have a group, and I'll just facilitate a class because they've already built the group.
Okay.
So it's a lot more beneficial when you realize that other people in the world are going through what you're going through.
Mm. Yeah.
You just need somebody to say it's going to be okay,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So we do that. I also do speaking engagements, but during this time, I give tools and techniques where you can talk about going outside, but it's not just going outside. It's sun work. Okay,
Mm.
so sun work is allowing. That's something that some of us don't know. We have permission to allow things in and out of our life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allowing the sun to hit my skin. How does it feel when you're outside,
Amazing.
right?
Yeah. A book I read one time is like it's called Sun Gazing, where you should watch the
Mm,
sun rise and set
yeah.
because there's just a healing power. I think it was Kevin Trudeau.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's that healing power. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know how much power is around us.
Yeah.
Every day we're passing by this
Yeah.
beautiful nature
Mm-hmm.
that can change our mood in an instant,
Yeah.
right? So giving the options of allowing and acceptance and telling people that you have permission, like this is your life,
Mm-hmm.
you control, your life is very important.
So how can people book you for these speaking engagements? We're gonna get these people gonna know who you are.
Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you. Yolina J _ survival coach on Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
My next question would be let's say that introvert that they realize they want to work on something,
Yeah.
but the ability to reach out for help.
Yeah.
How would you, I guess, unofficially coach this person to be like, yo, you come to me and I'll help you guide, or just be that person to listen?
Oh, so the first thing to do, and that's a lot of our students, that's a lot of our the children,
Mhm.
because they don't want to let people down. So they automatically set themselves up for failure by not trying. A lot of those opportunities you just have to put in front of them. So I had a client who wanted to build a friendship with someone.
Mhm.
And this is a young person, but felt that they weren't, it was a group project and they felt like they weren't going to give them the best of them.
Mhm.
my advice was go for it,
Okay.
right? Go for it because you don't wear other people's feelings.
Mm.
You shouldn't wear other people's feelings, right?
Yeah.
So the best thing to do is to go for it. I told somebody the other day? I know what it is. I know what it is like to fail. Okay. But if I don't try, I'm not certain of what's on the other side, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I fail, that lets me know I stopped and I didn't give my best. That's almost like having a conversation with someone. They walk away and you're like, I had other things to say and I didn't say it. And that was good. I should have said it, right?
Yeah.
But you have the opportunity to say and do those things. You don't want to miss out on those opportunities, right?
Yeah.
So just go for it. Life is not promised at all.
No, it's not.
But when I have those situations, we have to work out a plan. So saying just go for it, it doesn't really mean so much to somebody who is hard to take that first step. You really have to guide them and be kind and be patient and use those words to invite them and let them know that they belong in that space.
Nice. So before I do my last question, I just made it up in my mind right now. Are you still doing the charcuterie business?
I am.
All right, man. I appreciate all the talks about understanding emotions, speaking about emotions. It's okay to be okay.
Yeah.
People can reach out to you to start this journey.
Yeah,
but let's
absolutely.
talk about when I met you. So I met for all the people that saw Izetta's candle episode. I met Yolina at this amazing
Thank you.
charcuterie setup.
Yeah.
You want to
Shout out to Izetta for putting that together.
Yeah. Do you want to speak about that mission?
So one of my love languages is cooking. I like to cook to reach the soul.
I love to eat.
Right? And I don't really have time for cooking. So then I found, charcuterie.
Yeah.
And I started taking classes and I just love the different types of experiences that you can put together. Charcuterie is just not crackers and cheese. Like it could be desserts.
I was shocked that you said there's classes because Izetta said there's a candle con, and I was like,
exactly.
I'm like, who's coming up with all these ideas? And like, do you go on Eventbrite and search these places?
Yes, you do. Google is your best friend. Google is your best friend, and if those opportunities aren't there, create it.
Yeah.
Create it. But like I said, after COVID, it was just like I have all these talents. I just want to use them. And I want to show my daughter that the sky is the limit. So I don't want to just limit myself to education. There's so much more to me that I want to share with the world. And The Love Spell by Yolina J on Instagram, that's my baby.
Say it one more time for the people that's not watching the video.
The Love Spell by Yolina J. Is a company that we do small gatherings. We come to, like if you're having a date night, a girl weekend, if you're having a candle class, if you're having something with corporate or lunch or anything like that, we provide charcuterie boxes or charcuterie tables so you could entertain your guests.
I love it. What's one thing you know now that you wish you would have known at an earlier time in life?
I know now that I am chosen. Regardless if someone says my name in the room and I'm not there, I have people in my life intentionally. So if I'm not there, they know, that I'm somebody. I'm that miracle that rose from concrete.
I love that. Well, I thank you for spending your Saturday morning with us.
Thank you.
One more time.
Yeah.
Where people can reach you.
Yolina J _ survival coach or The Love Spell by Yolina J.
Well, thank you again.
Thank you, Josh.
Shout out to Lamar in the back.
Thank you, Lamar.
You guys have a great day.
Peace.